the greatest Rotary Club in the universe. All right, glad to have you here. We got lots going on. How about an invocation, Becky Ellie?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful weather and for all that we do for our communities, and bless this food for our bodies. Amen.
Amen. Flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the four-way test over here. Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right, for a song today, we have hopefully song sheets on every table. Stephanie, can you come up and help me with the technology piece here? One we haven't sung maybe ever, but I think you all know. Sing along.
It's on film.
We have an internal strife in our family. She keeps trying to extend the song out, and I'm like, nah, let's ease into that. So sorry, dear, if you're watching at home on the YouTube channel. All right, do we have any guests of Rotarians? Any actually Rotarian guests? Rotarians from other clubs, I mean. How about guests of Rotarians, other than our star-studded high school students and their families? All right, no visitors today. How about club business? I have a few committee reports. Tim Helen, you want to start?
We had our introduction of the mentor program yesterday.
Mentor program was introduced to students yesterday at the high school. We had 8 kids show up, and there were a couple that were going to be there, but they were sick or out of the area. We'll try to catch them up. So we'll probably have about 10, maybe 12. We'll see how that goes. It was interesting. They seemed to be interested. One kid brought his mom, and they already signed up, so he'll be in the program. Our next meeting is Wednesday at 8:30 in the morning. We meet over at the high school office across from the gym, and we'll move from there. Carrie will have a room set up for us. And that's the meeting when Andrea Clancy will be introducing the mentors to the different rules of the program, the things we have to take care of. And at the end of at some point during the meeting, the kids will come on in, and we'll get to meet with them a little bit. As far as today goes, I've got some schedules over there showing you the dates when we have the meetings and field trips. Again, there are times that we meet with the kids at the high school, and times we go to field trips at various places. Hopefully at Janike Engineering pretty soon. I'll talk to John later. And we also have the background check forms. So anybody that needs to have a background check, head over there and you fill out the form, take it by, drop it off at the office at the high school, get that all set up, and then we'll all be ready to go.
Just to clarify, some people need background checks but are not in the program, and they don't have to do that yet, right? That was a joke.
I don't know if there's any questions. Okay.
All right, well, thank you, Tim, and thank you for everyone on the committee participating. That's a great. Okay, Mike Mosher, you're going to tell us about the crystal ball meeting.
I'm just gonna have a short meeting after, I guess, right here.
Okay, short meeting afterwards for the crystal ball committee. So if you don't know who you are and you're worried about it, talk to Mike between now and the end of the meeting. Becky, Christmas party update.
Mark your calendars for December 14th. We're going to have the Christmas party at Magnolia's new banquet room, right around the corner from the restaurant. Today we're having a meeting to iron out details. So if you're on the Christmas party or you want to be on the Christmas party, we're going to meet over at that event right after this meeting.
Thank you, Becky. Are there any other announcements from the floor? I got a couple more. Steve, go ahead.
The block wall has been poured over there at Bingham Park bathrooms, and getting the materials rounded up to put the roof on it. And I'd like to do a work party, I think it's the 27th, Saturday, probably 11 a.m. We'll see if we can't get that all framed up.
All right, Mike Jennings, you have one. Right here out front.
So we have a work party that was supposed to be done last year. Patrick was in charge of it, so I'm taking it over. It's at Avery Martin's house on November 17th. And this is the kind of thing that Patrick would, take care of. We're supposed to bring four-wheelers and off-road vehicles to make the trails better at Avery's after we're done mowing and stuff. So this could be a real good time. We should get a lot of people there. We're gonna build bonfires. We're gonna split some firewood, and then we're gonna drive around on the property and consider it a work party.
I look forward to that. All right, I want to thank Mike Janke. I want to thank Sheena. I think Phil helped out. And anyone else, raise your hand if you helped with bingo last night. Yeah, let's give a round of applause. We have October 18th, we have the second round of our vision review for everybody 50 and under. Look forward to seeing you there. If you happen to be over than 50, don't want to admit it, feel young at heart, you can come anyway. It's at 6 p.m. at the Iron Mountain Grill. And it won't go later than 8. So 6 to 8 is what you should plan for. We ended about 15 minutes early last night. All righty. How about a raffle? We have a raffle?
We do.
We have a raffle.
I have a happy 20 because this is my favorite day of the month, as you know, because I get to celebrate those amazing accomplishments of our two graduating seniors.
Martin?
I have a happy 5. I'm retired now. I can't afford 20 like the high school principal can. And, especially after the raise you guys got. But this is a happy...
Got one yet.
Oh, that's right. You're at 3.1 still. Okay. Not 17. Good. So this is for last night. We had the bingo here, and I want to give accolades to, again, Carl did as well, but Mike Janicki did a great job of cooking the spaghetti, and then Phil and Sheena did a really good job of putting it all together, and my assistant was Ken Vanna, Rico, whatever you want to call him, and Anna Martin. Your cookies were a huge hit, so thank you for a great job.
I like the ratio of meat to meat in that spaghetti.
I've got a happy $10 for the students of the month, and it was noted the other day that on October 7th by the Sedro Museum that I was selected along with Newell as the very first Rotary Boy of the Month. She was a girl of the month, and that was 44 years ago. This is wild. 19 1974. But the cool thing about that day, and I literally remember it, so we got a really special gift. We received a $49.95 calculator from Home Drug. And we were talking about calculators earlier today. This calculator could add, subtract, multiply, divide, and wait for it, do square root. That's it. And it was the coolest thing ever. So congratulations to you guys. I don't think you guys got a calculator like that reason.
Any other happy thoughts? Happy,
Very happy for the students and happy that I'm going to go hunting with Mike this weekend so we can replenish the stuff for bingo in the future. So don't want to ask a lot of questions. There you go. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you notice I didn't ask what kind of meat it was.
Okay. Any other happy bucks? Okay, we're good.
All right, you're gonna find anybody today?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna try to make this fast, but I had to do it since the Seahawks are in London this weekend playing their Raiders, so we've got some London facts for you. So. Okay, first table. London was not always called London. Before settling on the name London, it had a series of 3 names. What were the 3 names?
What's it going to cost?
Come on. You got it right? Okay, so it's Londonium, Ludenwick, and Ludenberg. So, good, I got it. We got Phil. Ken, you want to help over there? All right.
Oh, yes.
Queen Elizabeth II may be the head of state, but who does she need permission from to enter the city? Excuse me? No? Prime Minister. No? How many guesses are we going to take? It's the Lord Mayor. Lord Mayor is who it is, and $2. Well, you have two guesses. Okay. In the UK, drivers drive on the left side of the road, but there is one road where drivers can only drive on the right. What is the name of that road?
Right.
Crossing between England and France.
No, I don't think that's what this is. It's the Savoy Port in Embankment. I'm not sure where Embankment is, but that's close to a tunnel. $1. $1. Okay, what was London's rank in the world's most expensive cities in 2016?
Second.
6. Yeah, how about it? You were really close. It's not even. Big Ben is the name inside the clock tower, is the bell inside the clock tower. What is the tower itself called? You very good, Mark Nielsen. That's right, Elizabeth Tower. You guys were saved. All right. How many art galleries are there in London? Art galleries, how many? Okay, I'm going to give you within 50.
Holy smokes.
860. Good one. Yes.
They don't know how to define art.
All right. London has the tallest Ferris wheel in Europe. What is it called? Kerry Carlton, very good. London, the London Eye, very good. Okay, I'm going to ask you one more. Okay, there are 4 NFL games played in London, 2 each at Wembley and 2 each at Twickenham Stadium. How many fans attended at Wembley, and how many fans attended at Twickenham? last year. So Wembley has, I mean, they sold it out pretty much. How many seats in Wembley? So that's pretty good, 84,000. We can go with that. We're gonna only charge you guys a buck, okay? Or wait, how many fans in the Twickenham Stadium?
63.
Close, 73,000, so okay, buck. Good job. I won't turn on you guys. So we're good.
All right, thank you, Mike. All right, we have some high school kids that we want to talk about today. Harry Carlton, can you come on up, please? And bring these excellent students.
Thanks. Hey, you're right.
Okay, I am really excited for our first opportunity to share the Students of the Month that have been honored by our teachers and staff members at Sedro Woolley High School. And I'd like to start with Savannah Acton. Savannah Acton is the daughter of Kurt Acton of Sedro Woolley and Carrie Acton of Big Lake. Savannah maintains a 4.0 GPA while being actively involved at our high school. She's a member of National Honor Society, inducted her sophomore year. Savannah has received 6 department awards in math, science, drama, English, Spanish, and CTE.
I could just
She's a member
shut
of the
down.
Drama
I'll just
Club
have to
and has
re-kick
participated
it.
in 3 productions, Stage Door as the lead actress,
Yeah.
Descendants, and an upcoming production, Parent Trap, in supporting roles. Savannah is highly involved in our broadcasting program. She has produced various video presentations within the school and to local community boards, as well as film advertisements for community events like Blast from the Past. Other leadership activities she enjoys are homecoming events and various school fundraisers. Outside of school, Savannah enjoys spending time with kids. She works for our local daycare and babysits when she can. She also tutors students in math. Tutoring is an amazing experience for her because she gets to see the students grow and learn. Savannah contributes to her community through volunteer work and her church community. So it's my pleasure to hand the mic over to her and have her share who she's with her here today and also her plans upon graduation.
Hi, I'm with my mom, Carrie Acton, and my stepdad, Jeff. And after graduation, I plan to attend BYU Idaho for a year, getting prerequisites for dental hygiene. And then I plan on going on a 1.5-year mission for my church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And then after that, I plan to continue education at BYU, Utah, and finish off my dental hygienist degree. But ultimately, I want to be a mom and film weddings as a hobby.
Our next student of the month is Weston Abbott. He is the son of Greg and Angel Abbott of Sedro Woolley. Weston maintains a 3.0 GPA while being actively involved at our high school. He is what we call a triple threat athlete, meaning he is a 3-sport athlete, earning varsity letters in football, 2 in basketball, and 3 in baseball. This year, he will add 3 more letters to his jacket. Other school leadership activities that Weston participates in are the homecoming, Deck the Den, and lip sync events. Also, we were really proud to recognize Weston as our leader in sportsmanship, and he and one other athlete were recognized for Sedro Woolley High School in our Northwest Athletic Conference. Outside of school, Weston enjoys spending time in outdoors, playing basketball at a local neighborhood court, and possibly a hike at the beach. He spends most of his leisure time with families and friends. You'll see Weston cheering on his sister and girlfriend while they play softball and assisting the team at their softball car wash fundraiser. He also volunteers with his mom at various community events like Walk for Alzheimer's. During summer vacations, Weston needs work experience by baling hay and other seasonal jobs. At this time, I'd love to have Weston share who's with him here today and also his future plans.
Hi, I'm here with my mom, Angel. And after high school, I plan on attending Sked to get my prereqs done. And after that, attending Western Washington to pursue a teaching degree. I want to teach middle school. Middle school and middle school.
Got you? Line up right here. Perfect. Congratulations to the students of the month and to you parents. Well done.
All right, it's time for early readers. We're going to have 3 or 4 new member talks. You're not going to want to miss it. If you got to, now's the time. So I'd like Becky or Mary to introduce each of our new members as the program unfolds. Welcome.
Thank you, President Carl and fellow Rotarians. I would like to call first Chad Paulson.
Thank you, Becky. You have 2 minutes. That's about all I got. Everybody hear me okay? So public speaking isn't my best asset, so I got a little cheat sheet here. So a little about myself. I'm 42 years old. I was born and raised in the best town in the world, Sedro Woolley, Washington. I'm a proud 1994 grad of Sedro Woolley High School. A couple members out there. I'm sure I'm also not the only Tar Heel in the room. My grandpa drove out here from North Carolina to work in the woods. I'm a diehard sports fan who roots for the Mariners, Seahawks, Sounders, and of course the Huskies. Come on. But don't worry, Coug fans, I saved most of my sports take for the Ducks. I have an amazing wife, Sherry. She's also a 94 Sedro Woolley grad. We reunited through the magic of Facebook about 7 years ago, and I've been married for 4.5 years. I have 2 stepsons. Kevin is out of the house. He lives and works in Bellingham. He runs an auto repair shop up there. And Keenan is a senior at Sedro Woolley High School. He plays basketball and golf for the Cubs. He is excited to continue golfing at the college level, and we are exploring those options. It looks like we are going on a recruiting trip to Oklahoma in 2 weeks. We have a dog named Denali, 2 cats named Johnny and Sophie, and a pair of eagles in the backyard named Earl and Sherman. We're thinking about changing those names. Yeah. My favorite thing to do is travel, and I feel very fortunate to be able to spend a few weeks of the year exploring other parts of the country and world. I'm an avid golfer, and someday hope to be good at it. On the professional side of things, I spent almost 20 years working for a small company in Mount Vernon. I ran the shipping department the last 10 years. And then the last few years there, I started my real estate career before taking it full-time about 2.5 years ago. I've been working in real estate for 4 years now. Got into the business at the right time and been very blessed with how my careers took off. I was honored to be named the Keller Williams County Realtor of the Year in only my 2nd full year in the business. It is very rewarding to have a profession where I get to help people find their dream home. I joined Rotary because I want to get more involved in the community and help Sedro Woolley grow and prosper. I love this town and the people in it. This is my home. In closing, I'm very excited to be part of the great organization and get to know you all better. Sorry, Becky, I know that wasn't 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. And next, I'm going to call on Miss Stephanie to come. Let's give her a big hand.
Raising it to the level.
Well, so
at 8, and I fell asleep by 8:01. At 8:24 was my first wake up for my kid, and I didn't get more than 60 minutes of sleep at any point. So at 3:55, I got up and I did this because I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to put together full sentences today. So here we go. This is me. I'm Stephanie Janicki Bachmeyer. I was actually born in Anchorage, unlike all 4 of my brothers. My parents had moved up there, and so I was born there. And we moved back to Sedro Woolley shortly after that. So my parents are Mike and Lisa. My dad's here. He stayed because I was speaking. He didn't know I was speaking. He gave me $5, told me that he was leaving early and to put it in. And then I was like, wait, I'm talking. He's like, oh, I'll stay. Don't think that he always stayed for events in my life. I remember a tennis match where he was there, and then I remember he was getting yelled at by my coach. And the next thing I look over there, and he has gone to watch Pee Wee football practice as I'm still playing my tennis match. But thanks, Dad. So my family is deeply rooted in Sedro Woolley. I'm one of 28 first cousins that grew up in this valley in the Sedro Woolley School District. That upper picture is the cousins and aunts and uncles. Those are my 4 brothers, Jordan, Adam, Peter, and Patrick. And then a picture of us as kids playing in Grandma's swimming pool. That's what we spent a lot of our time doing when we were younger. As a kid, I spent a lot of time playing soccer and going to summer camp. And summer camp has kind of been the staple for my whole life. When I was in high school, I tried to drop out of my high school my senior year to go work at environmental ed for the spring, and my dad sat me down and told me that I couldn't play tennis if I dropped out of high school, and that kept me in high school. But I was really convinced that's what I wanted to do. I spent 12 years working at summer camp. That's where I met my husband, and I still am on the board for the summer camp that I worked at. So that's fun times. I was Sedro Woolley High School class of 2002. Woo! Danny and I were causing all sorts of trouble. Not really. This picture right here, that picture actually got us in a lot of trouble in our car carts. We were called in for dress code violations wearing that. So when I call kids in for dress code violations now, they're really not wearing that. They told us that we were giving Sedro Woolley too much of a hick reputation. We were perpetuating the stereotype of hicks. And that's what we were wearing to basketball games, to cheer on our team. So anyway, I did not see eye to eye with that principal very well.
Wasn't me.
That wasn't me. You just hired her. I think Schweiger was the assistant principal at the time.
I'm innocent as well.
My senior year, I tried to get suspended. I had never been in trouble in school my whole life. And so second semester of my senior year, after I tried to drop out, I tried to get suspended. And I would just pester Mr. Schweiger at the time in the cafeteria, trying to do something that would get me kicked out of school. Now working at the middle school, I know what you have to do to get kicked out of school, and I wasn't even close. In high school, I did a lot of things. I played soccer, I played tennis, I cheered, I did ASB, natural help hours. Almost all of those things I did with Danny, except for tennis. Pretty much all of that we did together. 17 years ago this month was my Rotary Student of the Month. I was here with Keith Russell was the male student at that time. There's Danny. There's another picture of Danny in there. That picture is actually hanging in my office. Brenda Hadman, the teacher in that picture, she gave that to me as she was moving out of her classroom last year, and she was like, "This is you guys." So, you can go next. After I left Sedro Woolley, I went to Gonzaga. I followed, both my parents are alum from Gonzaga, and Jordan had already left and gone there. I thought that I wanted to go to Notre Dame, and then I got the Washington State Scholar, which was a full tuition, the equivalent of a full tuition to the University of Washington, so the dollar amount, but you had to stay in an in-state school. So I was not about to turn down that much money, so I figured Gonzaga was about as far away as I could get from Sedro Woolley and still be here. So I was at Gonzaga, watched a lot of basketball, but also got a biology degree and a minor in business. Thinking that I was going pre-med, that was kind of my thought, mostly because my mom told me, you should be a doctor, you should be a doctor, you should be a doctor. Not ever because I was like, oh, I should be a doctor, but because my mom kept telling me that. And for lack of a better plan, that's what I said I was going to do. But I didn't really want to be a doctor. So, my senior year of college, I signed up for the Jesuit Volunteer Corps, which is a program similar to AmeriCorps. You go and you live in communities that are, well, I was living in North Philadelphia, where every other house was abandoned. Often on my bus ride home from work, the bus driver would stop when it was different bus drivers. They would stop and ask me if I had missed my stop because I was the only white person left on the bus. So it was kind of a sketchy area of North Philly that we were living in. I worked at a super happy school called Our Mother of Sorrows. I was the PE teacher for pre-K through 8th grade students. There was 2 grade levels in each class, and the kids would come to me, and I was the only elective, so I was the only planning period for any of the teachers. I mean, they got planning once or twice a week was their only planning. When I was in Philadelphia, I was mugged in the parking lot of the school. There was a shooting across the street, and both the person that got shot and the shooter came running through our campus, and there was a cemetery behind our campus, and so they were hiding in the cemetery the shooter was. We were in lockdown for 6 hours. There's helicopters flying over the top of it, all sorts of exciting things. When I was mugged, I was actually on the phone with my mom when I was getting mugged, and the guy took my phone, and so my mom's like heard this whole thing, and then can't get a hold of me because the guy had my phone. She freaked out and just about booked me a plane ticket home. She called 911, but then hung up because she realized she didn't know where I was or what, like, how 911 in Skagit County wasn't actually going to help me in Philadelphia. I survived the year. But during that year, I decided that I didn't really want to go to med school and I really wanted to become a teacher. So I moved back home and went to Western and got my master's in teaching. When I was at Western, I went to New Zealand to do my student teaching. I kind of have a wandering soul. I wanted to go away. A lot of people told me it's a terrible idea to go to New Zealand. If you don't student teach in this area, you're never going to find a job. And I was like, well, if a school doesn't want me because I went abroad to do my student teaching, then I don't really want to teach there. And so I left and took off. I came back from New Zealand and married Greg Bachmeyer. He's also a teacher. He teaches at Cascade now, where I work. But we met when I was 17, when I was working at camp, and so it took us a long time to get married after we met, but we had fun. Right after we got married, we moved to Tacoma. I got a job teaching down at Bellarmine Prep, which is a Jesuit Catholic high school in Tacoma, and I was the math teacher. All those things. I did a lot of things at Bellarmine. During that time, we were trying to have kids. I had 3 miscarriages during that time, and I was like, I gave up on having babies, and so I'm going to go back to school again because I know that I'm good at going back to school. So I went back to school and got my administration credentials and started looking for a job up here. I knew that I wanted to come home, and there were 2 jobs posted at that time in the Sedro Woolley School District, and so I applied. And I interviewed with Carrie, and she told me no. And I was like, crushed. And then she was like, apply for the middle school. And so I did. And here we are today. During that time when we were down in Tacoma, we traveled the world. So that top picture on the left is actually London. There we go. I've been there and couldn't answer any of the questions about London today, but there you go. Grand Canyon, we went to South America. We spent a month in Africa. We went to Thailand for a couple weeks. That's not even on there. Climbed some mountains. This is what we do. And once our kids are a little bit bigger, we'll be doing the same thing. So University of Washington, Tacoma campus is where I finished my admin credentials. And then we moved up here, and that's me as the assistant principal at Cascade. I was doing traffic control the first day of school. I bought my house just here in town. Danny sold it to me, or helped me buy it, I guess. I'm the only person today who's not a realtor. And this is stuff we do for fun. There's 2 kids in that bike trailer. And my 2 little girls are in there, and I was 30 weeks pregnant in that picture with number 3. So these days are filled mostly with my 3 little cuties. June 13th to June 15th, 3-year gap, and 3 babies. So both the first and the third were born the last day of school, and that's really good planning, as Phil tells me. For administrators having babies. one born in December, you take 2 months off over Christmas. It's not so bad. But, so that's me.
Thank you, Stephanie, that was great. Now I'm going to call on Carl DeYoung. Let's give him a hand.
I'm just going to say that is a new high water mark. So nicely done, nicely done. So my name is Carl DeYoung, and what I learned from Junior Achievement and from the Dale Carnegie course is to make your name as silly as possible and people will remember it. So it's Carl DeYoung, like the soap opera, Young and Be Restless. So I was, boy, that was just in my head. That's what's happening. Thanks, Stephanie. I was going through some slides as well earlier, especially as a little Dutch kid with my sister for little Easter photos and things that are just completely cute and not me today. I have a very sardonic sense of humor, and I enjoy humor. And it's one of the great things that I enjoy about this club, which is the greatest love in the universe. Exactly. I've really appreciated the fellowship that you've shown, and also the great smack talk that happens from table to table. It is definitely improving my repertoire. I do want to thank the people that encouraged me to join, from Chief Tucker to Keith Wagner. This is definitely a wonderful place to feel welcomed and to feel the fellowship that you bring to the community. So speaking of community, I was born in Seattle to an immigrant from the Netherlands, my father. That part of the family wasn't able to escape the occupiers and came afterwards and decided this was the best place in the world to come and have a family and develop a legacy and develop a sense of community. So we started off new and fresh. He married my mother, who was born in a house my grandfather, my namesake Carl, built back in the 20s in Enumclaw, Washington. And we still have that home in our family today. It is a revered spot. It is a very small spot, but it is a testament to the grit that we have in this neck of the woods. I find Sedro Woolley very similar to Enumclaw, where you have to make it on your own and you have to invent ways in order to be successful. And I also tell the story of what brought that portion of the family to this country. My grandfather Carl was born in Germany, and then the family came over to pursue what we would call the green gold, or logging. And when he came to retrieve the body of his older brother who was killed in a logging accident in southeast King County, he dealt with the bookkeeper of the freight forwarding company, the Teamster, and the youngest of 15, the daughter, was the bookkeeper and the person running the desk. And she said, "You're kind of handsome. Hey, you're kind of cute. Why don't we get married?" So that's how that started. Her father was able to start up that livery Teamster freight forwarding business because her uncle, older uncle, John, was one of the first contractors, government contractors in Enumclaw, Washington. His job was to take his 6 oxen team and clear the stumps off of Cole Street, which is the main street through Enumclaw. And one of the great stories that we have that is in the coffee table book put out by the Enumclaw Courier-Herald is, of course, the names of his oxen that he had. Of course, it was an oxen Daisy. And the great quote out of that is he he was a very motivated oxen tender and a hard worker, but he had a special language for that team of oxen that he could only use when the ladies were off the street. He was killed in a logging accident out in Carbonado, and then his younger brother inherited the team, and the rest is history. Do want to talk a little bit about my family a little bit. I am the shortest male of my generation. I'm 6'5". My male cousins are 6'8", 6'9", and 6'10". So, you know, that's just the Dutch lineage there. We like to keep our head above water. Thank you. They're all weak trying to do.
That's a lot better than Mike.
Right. Carl, you just got to keep trying. One of them, as Senator Wagner says, a blind squirrel will find a nut. I am currently an advocate for food sustainability, and I share that with Mike as being on the board of directors with Helping Hands Food Bank of Sedro Woolley. And I just wanted to take just a brief moment and thank so much the club for all of his efforts over the years and years in supporting that food bank, and also thank individuals here personally that have helped drive the successes that we've seen over the past couple of years that is epitomized by our new building, which is the new center on Wicker and Fruitdale. And that would not be possible without a sense of community that comes from Sedro Woolley. So thank you for that. I enjoy volunteering here in Sedro Woolley with Woodfest. That is a passion of mine. I was a master stage carpenter, Seattle Repertory Theater. I had worked in the scene shop and on stage for the Seattle Opera for years. So if you can put it on a napkin, or if you can conceptualize it, we can go ahead and butcher some wood and put some steel together and put some paint on it and call it art. I'm also have participated in Lager Rodeo and look forward to a new role with Hooleyville, which I don't know if that's out yet, Paula, but she may have left. But I hope to reprise the role of Grinch. Looking forward to that. Some things in my past. I've been the vice president of a Kiwanis Club in West Seattle. Service clubs are near and dear to my heart, and I look forward to bringing some of those practices and learning more from folks here with Rotary. Some other leadership aspects. I've been involved with my neighborhood association, working with neighbors about those kids are driving too fast down the street. How many of those spots do we have, Chief? 42? About 50. All right. And also talking about safety for getting kids to school, and also working with seniors. That was a role that developed into a district council leadership job in the city of Seattle, which represented about 13 of those associations, and then eventually being elected from that group to the city neighborhood council, which represented over 164 neighborhood associations in the city of Seattle, and was a commission that reported to the mayor and to the city council members in Seattle. It was a great education piece, and something I hope to bring some of those best practices and some of those ideas and some of those experiences here to Sedro Woolley. A little bit about the vocation. My grandfather Grandfather Carl had a plumbing business out in Uniclaw. He was a sole plumber out there for decades. Had a large shop, and so that's where I learned about tinkering, about trying to make things work. And if something was broken, maybe you had to invent the tool to make it work. And you had to do it with the supplies that were around you. And I think that is something that's has stayed with me to this day, of trying to think about things obliquely or indirectly in order to solve a problem. I love to solve puzzles, and I love to solve problems. I was also gave me a task at a very young age of taking the Daisy BB gun and let's take care of those squirrels that are eating my walnuts. So that brought on the joy of what I enjoy about this area, about fishing and hunting, and the sustainability of our wildlife and conservation. As I like to describe to my cousins in the Netherlands, we live in a very unique spot, And I came to this conclusion of this subsequent description with former Mayor Mike Anderson, who just came off a Band of Brothers tour. And I said, you know, Sedro Woolley is just a wonderful area. It's unique because our front yard is like Belgium and Holland. And our backyard is like Austria and Switzerland. So within 20 minutes, you can do whatever type of activity you're interested in. We live in a very unique spot. I'm very happy that, and I feel blessed that I'm able to live here. I'm also a volunteer. I'm ordained, I am an officiant for weddings, and it is something that I enjoy doing for free for friends. And I have traveled the country helping out long-term friends make that commitment to each other. Did want to talk about why I've chosen Sedro Woolley. It is because I've lived in several places, and I think it takes a lot to make a community. Our city has its own personality and a uniqueness of its own, and I'm happy to say it over and over. I love Sedro Woolley. So, we have a sense of community here that has ownership towards the community. And that's what I really think this club is about, is that ownership to the community. Now, when I say ownership, I'm not talking about paying property taxes. I'm talking about ownership of feeling responsibility of the well-being of your neighbors. And I think everyone here has a head nod on that. We care about our neighbors. So, as Sedro Woolley is growing, you're going to see more folks like myself. It's not a realtor. Wasn't born here. Didn't go to high school here. But we're going to find folks that are willing to do the same thing, that care about a community, and that there are neighbors that are looking for those activities and ways to be part of a growing and vibrant city. I do have a little bit of history here in Sedro Woolley with my mother, who was, to this day, we call her a registered nurse, who worked at Northern State Hospital back in the 60s. And some of you may know that that was a teaching hospital under the University of Washington, and that's what she did. She helped teach nurses in psychiatric medicine, and that was something that was near and dear to her heart, and something that when it closed, you would still spend time up here with that nursing group for continuing education and the pursuits of medicine there. I caught my first fish off of Hanson Creek. I don't know if it was within regulations, but it's a fun memory I have, and it is something that I've seen in Sedro Woolley. Is a great place for what I would call have grit, because you've seen the high times and you've been through some troughs, and it is through the resiliency of the character of the community that makes it successful. And I'm very, very happy to be part of that. So with that, I would like to thank you all for including me into your club, and I look forward to any way to say yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. And now we have one more, our mayor, Julia Johnson. Let's give her a hand.
It's okay, I'm just going to pull this off. So my name is Julia Parker Johnson. I actually grew up as a Parker here in Sedro Woolley. I know David actually very well. We went to school together. In high school, we were actually on the bicentennial committee, and we did some good projects together, so it was a lot of fun. Born and raised here in Sedro Woolley. I was one of the last individuals that was born in Memorial Hospital, which is just right next to where we're here. And I am one of 3 children. My father worked at Skagit Steel until it looked like things were going to go sideways, and then he changed jobs and became a safety director for the state. And my mother has always been a stay-at-home mom, which I've absolutely loved and has given me a strong foundation. So I am married to a wonderful man named Eric Johnson. We've been married, it'll be 34 years on the 19th of this month. And my husband actually is an amputee and has been for 36 years. So I met him after he had already lost his leg, and so sometimes I think our journey is a little different than maybe the average couple, just because of things that we have had to kind of think about how we're going to move through life. We have 2 great sons. One of them sits on the school board. He's also on the planning commission. I think he also helps with Boys and Girls Club. He's out there. And then my other son lives down in Ballard, and he's a musician, and he loves what he does, but lives like a pauper. And I gotta tell you, as a mother, that's really hard to have to let go of, but he loves it. So a little bit about myself. I actually have a degree in the social sciences, and I acquired that at Antioch University in Seattle. And when the children were older and actually heading off to college, I went back and I got my master's in counseling psychology. One of the things that I have enjoyed doing is being involved in service work. started, Sandy Sims and Sherry Tesser were putting that together through United General. I was part of that team that helped form that, put together the programs and help with some of the rules and regulations, and that was very exciting. And the reason that I was able to do that was because in my master's program, when I did my internship, I had planned to be a family psychologist. But when I did my internship, I discovered bereavement because my internship was with hospice. And I found that that was a place where I really had a heart and I found the work there was very satisfying. So I have worked with Hospice of the Northwest in Mount Vernon. In between there, I actually worked at Pioneer Center North, which if you're not familiar with that, is actually, it's a rehab for people with drug and alcohol addiction. And while I was there, I worked in the admin, but also my job was to teach and also do counseling, mainly group work. And what was beautiful about that was I realized that those who were in recovery had a lot of grief, that there's a lot of loss that goes with that. There's a loss of job and self-respect, loss of home, lots of friends. Because when people hit Pioneer Center North, that's the last stop. That's the last stop along the way, and if they don't get there, they probably will not find recovery. So it's a wake-up call for a lot of them. So doing grief work was really beneficial, and I found that I worked mainly with the older men, but I found that I was probably one of the few counselors up there who always had full attendance, and I know it was because they were finding that kind of work and relief that they needed to have in their life to move forward. So that was very satisfying. It's very hard work up there. I ended up back at Hospice of the Northwest. And I was there until my husband retired. And when he retired, I decided that I was going to do something a little different, which didn't last very long. I about went nuts. And I had been attending council meetings. And I thought there was an opportunity to run for council. So I did, not anticipating at all that I would win, but it was just the opportunity to try. And I did win. Couldn't believe it, actually. I was on the council for a couple of years when, as you know, Keith was appointed to take Kirsten's place. And when that happened, he asked me not once but a couple of times to consider running. At first I said to fill his place as mayor. And at first I said no. It sounded very daunting. I didn't feel like I was really at it. I had what it took to do it. And also I had seen what he had to do and the kind of rebuff that he received from the community for the work that he was trying to put forth. Good work, really good work. And I knew that that would mean I'd have to put myself out there. So, twice I told him no, but the third time came when I don't think he intended to talk to my husband without me there, but he did. And when I came home, Eric met me at the back door and he said, "Don't say no. I want you to think about this. Promise me you'll do this." I wasn't promise anything. I said, "No, what's this about?" And he said, "I want you to tell me that you'll think about it." I said, "Okay, I'll think about it." He said, "Keith was here," and I go, "Oh." I knew right away what he was going to say. So, actually, it was Eric who said that my roots have been in this community. When I graduated, I went off to school, yes, but when we had children, this is where we wanted to raise them. This is where our family, our friends, this was a community that we knew was safe. It offered a lot of opportunities, which my oldest son has been able to, as he went off to college and come back, delve into and be a part of. It just offers a lot of opportunities like that. So we did move back. But he said, Julia, this is an opportunity for you you have a chance to really give of yourself to the community. You've always talked about wanting to give back. You've always been grateful, so here's your opportunity. And so that's what I did. So I hope I'm serving you well. I love what I'm doing. I am learning a lot. But I have also found, which I don't know why it surprises me, but it has, that there's many skills that when I move in and out of different projects and out of different boards, I realize I already have connections with the people and I already have the skills to be a part of that. So that's been exciting that I can grow upon that, I can serve you better as a leader. One of the things that I wanted to mention was that Eric and I, when we married, we decided that we were going to take on a mission. Because mission work, when he was in high school, his church, they did a lot of mission work, raised money for missions, and I had that experience too. We both had that through our church. We decided that we were going to take on a mission. And there was a school down in Brazil that his cousin, his sister's best friend, but his cousin had started when she was down there with the Peace Corps. It was a little school called Rosa Azul. And it was providing education and physical therapy for children who were either mentally and or physically impaired. So when we started doing this 34 years ago, she was working out of a tiny little house, maybe, I don't know, maybe 900 square feet of that. And now it has grown to quite a campus. It's quite a campus with several buildings on it. She does 2 programs a day. So she has those children who come in the morning. They have education, they get physical therapy, they have a meal. There's interaction with one another, both in the morning and in the afternoon. And Eric and I have been down there. We have worked on the rooms, we have worked on the buildings. So we've not only been giving for the last 34 years, but we've also been down there and actually helped with some of the building of that. Eric and I also last January went to Nicaragua, and it was a medical missionary team that we went with, and it was Corner of Love is who we went with, and we were very impacted by what we saw, because there were a lot of children who were actually living in, I wouldn't even call them homes, they were just posts with tarps around them, and that's how they lived. And children at a very young age go out and work in the fields. It's quite a hardship. I don't know if you're aware, but there has been some civil unrest that has happened in Nicaragua. If you're a person who prays, I would encourage you to pray for them. People are being tortured and killed. And this agency that we were with, not agency, but this organization we were with, they actually have moved to Costa Rica, and they're right on the border of Costa Rica and Nicaragua, trying to provide those services. So I see that we're almost out of time, but that's a little bit about me. Thank you very much for including me in the club. I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm excited to be a part of the different programs that you do, and I'm excited to turn this mic back over to Carmen.
Party orders for the day. We got to clean up, so please help us break down tables and chairs today. We have any last minute announcements? All right. Oh, crystal ball afterwards, right? Was there another one? Or was that?
Christmas party.
And Christmas party. Crystal ball and Christmas party. All right. With that, we are adjourned.